Hey guys, Billy here with Preacher's Creatures. I just got back from the local post office and got a new package in. This came from Barlow's, and the first order that I've ever made from Barlow's. So we'll see you back here in just a second down in the basement, and we'll open this baby up and see what we got. See you on the flip side. All right, guys, here we are in the back in the basement where my little shop is that I do my bait making. And here we go. We got our package that we picked up from the post office earlier, and ordered this from Barlow's. And this is the first that I've ordered from Barlow's, and we're going to break into this and see what all's in there, but we're not going to do that right yet. First, let me show you this. I'm excited about this. In one of my videos, I featured the 5-inch stick bait mold and showed how from Angling AI, and showed how the worm bands work with that mold. And that's so you can wacky rig. You can make these in a tougher plastic and then pour your plastic or inject your your stick bait worm in a softer plastic so you still have that good motion. And I had Mr. Danny Everett reached out to me and asked me if these would work in a particular mold that he had, which I think it was probably a Do It mold. And I apologize, Mr. Everett, I didn't go back and look at our correspondence, but he was wondering if it would work in that. And so I mailed him some out so that he could try, and ask him if he would just share his results with me. And so he did, and sent me some pictures. But then a little bit later, look what showed up in the mail. And I'm telling you, it was a very pleasant surprise. I'm very thankful, and I appreciate him. I asked him if it would be okay if I would show the baits that he made, because I'm impressed with them, the good quality, and I like the colors. And so right here's his the name, DAE Break Baits. And I'm not sure if it's just pronounced DAE or if you calling it Daybreak Baits. I don't know. I should have asked him, but either way, I'm excited about these. And as you can see right there, there's the worm band, and the mold that he shot these in are not an Angling AI mold, but they turned out and worked real well. And so yeah, that's pretty cool, and I love that color. I mean, that is gorgeous right there. I love transparent colors. I need to try to do it more. And you really can't see. I'm looking through the camera or the screen, and you can't see through these on camera as good as you can see through them in real life. And so, yeah, those are awesome. And again, DAE Break Baits, and Mr. Danny Everett, and he man, the quality of packaging and just everything there, beautiful work. And so yeah, I'm impressed. And that's not all. Look here, I mean, just beautiful work. He's got some of that bigger flake in there, like Adam over at SDG likes to use, and I'm gonna have to get me some of that as well. But there you go again. There's those rings for wacky rigging, and they look good in there. Look good. Sweet Honey, that's a nice color. I've not tried to make that, but I need to go back and look at some of the recipes that some of the other guys have done, and try that for myself. And then let's look here. Interference Gold and Green. Another beautiful bait. Love the sparkle of that green flake in there. And just man, what good work. I'm impressed, Mr. Everett. And I already mentioned that to him, but when we corresponded right after I got the package in the mail. But it's just good quality stuff. It's got a great look to it. 6-inch tricky worm and translucent purple. Got the black flake in there. I think it's black. No, there's purple. I'm not sure. It almost looks like maybe that's some of the 8-bit baits stuff in there, but because it doesn't look uniform, so that might be some of those siren scales or something in there. But that's neat. I like that. And then of course come right back with the Sweet Honey in the same 6-inch tricky worm. Beautiful, beautiful baits, and I look forward to using them. Then he changed it up with the 7.5-inch ribbon tail, and again in that translucent purple. And there you can see the purple flake in there. Just beautiful translucent bait. Excited about that. I guarantee that tail will give a lot of action. And then we go back to the Sweet Honey in that 7.5 ribbon tail worm. And these are baits that I don't have. I don't have molds for them, and so I'm excited. For me, it's a great opportunity to see what these baits look like, and you know, if I ever consider purchasing some of these type baits or type molds that make these baits. We got the watermelon rose. Look at that lamination there. That is nice. E. Crawl Jr. Beautiful rose color on the bottom, and then that watermelon with the red flake on top. That tail, it's got the ridges on it, and that should allow for good motion there, water catching those ridges. And then last but certainly not least, the MC Brush Hog in that watermelon rose color. And awesome job. Thank you so much, Mr. Everett. I appreciate it so much. And what a wonderful little surprise. Well, not a little surprise. That's a lot of baits, and I'm very thankful. And it was enough just to share your experiment with these that I sent you, and gaining that knowledge. But to send all those, I really do appreciate that. Appreciate your time. And so, yeah, that's the first. You know, when you go on this YouTube journey, and you have first. You know, I've got a video where it's my first viewer recommendation video. We put that together, and then, you know, I'm climbing towards 500, the milestone of 500 subscribers, and so there's certain firsts, and here we are with the first. I've seen other YouTubers get things in the mail, and I never really thought much about it, but yeah, that was my first subscriber sending me some things in the mail, and I just want you to know I greatly appreciate it. What a blessing that is. All right, now I look forward to trying those out. And what's in this box might just help me do that. So here we go. This is what you've been waiting for. We're going to reveal what we got in the mail today. Are you ready? I hope so. So here we go. I know I got it close up, but y'all don't want to see my ugly mug anyway. All right. So, Barlow's Tackle. Let's see here. I'm going to back this up just a little bit. And I also had a recommendation to get some black felt to show off some of my baits and stuff with. And which I was thinking about doing that anyway. But I put these on there at some of the darker colors looked real nice on there. But then the translucent, that hot honey, I put it on there, and or no, I'm sorry, it was the purple. I put it on there, and I just didn't feel like you could see it real good, so that's why I did it. And just in case you are wondering what professional surface that I use here, it's the top of my deep freezer. So anyway, that's what you get with a YouTuber that is, well, I don't really consider myself a YouTuber. I'm just somebody that enjoys what I'm doing and film it so that you can learn from it. But when it comes to a YouTuber with 500 subscribers or under 500 subscribers, this is what you get. You get whatever surface has the least amount of stuff on it. So anyway, here we go. Taking off the package, the packing, and we've got some hooks right here. And they are, I believe they are, if I remember correctly, they are finesse hooks. They've got the bend in there, and the reason I got these is because of this mold right here. And so if you've been following my channel for any length of time, you know that I'm primarily a crappie fisherman, pan fisherman. I grew up, me and my dad, we crappie fished, and I'm not making light of people that bass fish, because one of the reasons I bought this is so I could do some more bass fishing, but I didn't grow up bass fishing. And my dad used to say, son, why would we spend the time and money and effort to come out here to catch a fish that we don't necessarily want to eat? And so that was the mentality of my dad. I love my dad. He's such a great man. But he has such a way of looking at things. But so anyway, I grew up fishing for fish that we could eat, and that was crappie, walleye, trout, catfish. And I know you can eat bass, and I've eaten bass, and that's fine, but that's just the background. So the reason I'm telling you this is I learned how to crappie fish. I never learned how to bass fish. But when you get awesome gifts like this right here in the mail, it makes you want to go bass fishing. And so I bought this weedless Midwest Finesse jig mold so that I can use it with some of the baits that I'm making, and also some of the awesome stuff that has been sent to me. Then I also got the Midwest Finesse jig, and of course you can see on the picture the difference between these two is they're both like I guess a Ned rig style, what they call Ned rig, where that'll rock up and allow the bait to kind of stand up. But this one has the crook in it so that you can rig it weedless, and then this is for a straight shank. So we're excited about that. I've got my lead pot over there heating up, and when it gets ready, we're gonna shoot a few of these. And yeah, thank you for Barlow's for the quick shipping, and we look forward to it. We'll see you when we get set up on the other side. Okay, guys, we took the Midwest Finesse weedless Finesse jig mold out of its wrapper, and the first thing you've got to do is you've got to smoke your mold or spray mold release on it. I don't have any mold release. What I do have is beeswax. I don't keep bees anymore, but I used to, and so I've used beeswax to make candles for myself and my wife, and So I do have some beeswax candles that I'm going to use to smoke these molds with, and I thought, you know, somebody might want to see this, and hopefully you can hear me above. I've got several fans going because I've got my lead pot on, and also I just fluxed the lead, and of course when you do that it gives off a lot of smoke and stuff. But I'm going to attempt to smoke this mold, and what that does, if you don't know, it helps your jig heads to release. And so that's what we're going to attempt to do on camera. Hopefully you can see it. I'm dealing with an open flame, so I want safety first. And I don't know if I can get it to work with this. Normally I do it with just a stick candle. But I'm going to try to do it with this, and we'll see how it goes. If it don't work, I'll punt and try again. But what you're trying to do is get the black smoke from the candle to coat. There we go, that's better. To coat your mold. And what you kind of have to do is hold it at an angle so that it creates that black smoke. And I may have to turn that fan off to do it. You might be able to see it a little bit in the top there, but let me turn this fan off and see if that'll help. Okay. All right, let's try this again. See if I can get it to work. So you can see how it's starting to smoke it up a little bit on this side compared to this side, but it's going to take a little bit, and I'll probably have to dump out some of this wax right quick, and that helps. I have to turn this way. I'm still, because I've got another fan that's going across the room. And it's blowing this way as well. Sorry, I'm paying more attention to not burning myself. Just let the candle go out. I'll have to relight that. And some people use different variations of candles. Some people use regular wax candles. I've got beeswax, so that's what I use. So there you can see kind of a charred look. Keep an eye on that wax so that I don't burn myself. And you just let the flame lick that mold And as a result of that smoke going into the cavities, it will cause a kind of a natural release agent, I guess. It just I probably will get me some release agent before too long. Every time I go to my local sporting goods store or Bass Pro or somewhere like that that sells it, I always forget. And you kind of have to, you can see I've let the candle, expose a lot of wick, and that's where you're going to get a lot more black smoke. Sorry, I'm off camera. I'm more focused on that flame and that wax. So pour out some more. Do just a little bit more, and then we'll call it good. I hope I'm not. There we go. That's sooting it up real good. There we go. I need to do this one on the end a little more. Let's see here. That's the biggest one. It'll hold the most lead, which means it's more likely to stick. So, well, the wax finally got me, but you can see we've smoked it up pretty good. All right, I'm gonna cut the video here and then get set up, clean this wax up over here, and then I'll get set up and show you how we go about putting the hooks in here. And so stick around, and we'll be right back. All right, guys. Let me explain a few things to you if you've never worked with a lead pot. There's a couple things that you want to do. First of all, it's extremely hot, and so you got to be safe about that. You've probably heard, if you watch videos on people that use lead pots, they'll tell you use it in a well ventilated area. You can hear the fan running in the background. I'm going to turn my other fan back on. And so that way we can, have decent ventilation. And there's debate. Sorry, I had to throw something away. There's debate on whether, the fumes coming up off the lead pot, or if it has to be a certain temperature before, I think, they say if it's boiling, that's when the fumes are let. I don't know. I'm not here for that debate, but I just know this. I can smell it, and if I can smell it, then there's something coming up off of there. Another thing that I have to do, you probably just saw there a drip of lead come down. So I keep my little ladle under here when you go to pouring, or when you get it heated up. And some pots don't do this, but most most pots, most people that I've ever watched on YouTube, they all talk about how their lead pot will drip, and it's just kind of one of the things that you deal with. I've got it turned down fairly low for what I normally do right now, which is on 6. I use in the past I've worked on 7, even 8. It goes all the way up to 9 and then high. But so I keep this under here to keep it from dripping. I need to heat this mold up. I think I'm going to go ahead and put the hooks in it. I'll do that right now so that you can see that. But then to heat my molds up, what I do is I put them up here on top and just let them sit there and heat. So we've got size 1 hooks from Barlow's here, and these are Victory hooks. In the mold it says use Victory style 10777, and so that's what we have, 10777 in the size 1. And so I've got some molds that if you're using, the bigger ones will hold bigger hooks and the smaller ones will hold smaller hooks, but this one, it calls for the same size hook all the way across. And I think I'll just do a run of the whole thing and just see how that does. So a lot of times what I'll do is pull, you see how the hooks come out of the bag. A lot of times what I'll do is just take those out, and then what you're left with in the bag is probably enough to do what we need to do. And so then I'll put all these hooks back in the bag. And any that come loose, we'll just we'll use them in the second run or whatever. So I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I'm really shooting this video flying by the seat of my pants. I was just excited about getting this mold and wanted to share with you guys. And so what we do is we just take our mold, take our hooks. You can see where the hook eye goes, and so you just follow the contour of and this is the first time I've ever used any hooks that have that shape to them, and so I'm used to just putting a straight shaft hook in there. But it's if I can figure it out, I'm sure you'll have no problem. But just start with the eye and make sure it lays in there. If it's not laid in there correctly, when you go to close it, it won't close all the way. And if you're not paying attention and you pour the mold anyway, you will end up with a mess because it'll drop straight through. Now let's see how this one does. Oh yeah, it falls right in there. Okay, so we're going to close up the mold nice and smooth so we don't bump it and dislodge any of those hooks. You want to check to make sure that everything is closed properly, and then I'm going to set this up here and let it start warming up. Some molds, hopefully this one I can do it with, some molds will open up, and I think this one's opening up a little bit, so I may have to put it on its side and then flip it. So we're going to do it that way, because the last thing we want is for that thing to creep open and our hooks drop down in the mold pot. So stick around, we'll be right back when that gets heated up, and we'll shoot a round of these and see what we got. Thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. While that's warming up, let me say a couple things about some tools that I use when it comes to making my jig heads and sinkers. Typically, every one is going to have a sprue, and if you work in plastics, you know what the sprue is on that. when it comes to pouring lead jigs, lead heads, sinkers. It's the extra lead that sticks up past the jig head. And so just like these right here, this is a freestyle jig, and you can see that I have not smoked this mold, and I've poured several runs of this for different things. You know, mostly what I use it for is for swim baits for deep, or not deep sea fishing, but for saltwater when I get a chance to do that, and some of the other stuff that I've thrown for bass in the past. But anyway, so your sprue is going to be that cone thing up there, and so you need a way to remove that. One of the ways to do that is to get a cheap pair of these. These come from Harbor Freight, and these do just about as good a job as I've found any tool to do. In the past, I've used a pair of side cutters. I thought I had them laying over there, but I've used a pair of side cutters before, and they do okay. They tend to leave a little bit extra material. These get it about as close as anything I've ever used. I did just recently purchase this. This is also from Harbor Freight, and it's their Icon. It's the same thing. It's just basically a beefier version of this. And the reason I got it is because some of these molds and sinkers, when you go to cut them, you know, they're pretty thick, and sometimes it can be a little tough with these. So anyway, I just want to explain some of the tools. All right, looks like we have warmed up pretty good. Let's see here. Yeah, it don't have to be screaming hot, but you want it to be warm enough so that the lead doesn't cool off too early going down in there and fills out real good. So, all right, let me resituate the camera and get it down here low so you can see what I'm doing, and then we'll go from there. All right, guys, we're back. Just want you to know my first priority is to not burn myself, and so when it comes to making this video, so if my hands get in the way, I don't apologize, because I'm not going to be focusing on what you're seeing as much as I am not getting burnt. So anyway, here we go. We're going to take our mold here, and I always like to knock that little piece off there. It's been hanging out cooling, and we're going to try to get this as close as we can, but allow it to free fall and just let it pour in there. Let me see if I can do it this way. If I can do it this way, you might be able to see better. So right there. And there we go. All right, we'll let this cool off. It doesn't take long. You don't want to handle the lead, obviously, but it doesn't take it long to cool off. And then what we can do is just open it up, and we can show you. Hopefully you can see what that looks like right there. And we got a couple over here. Now this is where you want a good pair of needle nose pliers so that you can get a hold of the hook. I typically, instead of getting a hold of the hook, because I don't want to scratch my hook up, I'll come in here and grab the sprue and pull that out. And the hook is a little warm, but it's not too bad. Now, something I noticed right there, a little bit of flashing in the little bit of flashing right there in the hook eye. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to snip that off. And what I do is I'll snip that off, and then I'll come back in and kind of scrape the top. I hope I'm getting that on camera. And there is that. Now, so there we go. Got a little bit of flashing down here. And so I just kind of gently twist around till you start seeing it moving, and then it just comes right off. Put that back in the pot. So there we go. That's our first one out of the mold, out of the Midwest Weedless Finesse Jig. And so I'll put these over here, let them keep cooling down. We'll go to the next one, pop it out. I'm looking at these, and there's flashing on about all of them. So I think what I need to do next time is squeeze the handle together more. This one don't have it too bad. It does have a little bit right here, so we'll take care of that. And so that on that one, instead of going from the side and leaving a little mohawk, I went front to back, and it does leave a little bit there that has to be cleaned up, but sometimes that's the better way to do it. Some people will hit this with a little file or something to clean that up. For me, I make jig heads for me. I don't make them to sell, and so that doesn't bother me. So I just let it ride. So anyhow, let's get these others out here. We'll just go ahead and peel them out, and that's still a little warm. We're going to do a couple more. I'm going to put it back up there and let it heat up. Turn it up on its head. And so well, what do you know? A little tool just messed up. We got it back in there. Spring popped loose. It's the first time that's ever happened. Maybe it's a good thing I got these big beefier cutters. I'm going to try them out here on this next one, see how they do. Okay. Let's see here. We'll use them on the biggest one here. And something, ooh, that's nice and clean. Something I've noticed about these is use the flat side when you're cutting. Don't cut them with this part, because they will not, they'll miss a lot more. So that turned out real good. That new set. Might have to retire these other ones since they want to start messing up on me. Let's see here. Yeah, that's nice. That is nice. Let's see how they clean up here. Oh yeah. Not bad at all. Nice and smooth. Nice and smooth. I think those cut smoother than the little ones. And I mean, the blades aren't much bigger, or the cutters aren't much bigger, but I will say I do not like hooks coming in a bag. And the reason I don't like hooks coming in a bag is because if you're trying to pull one out up here and you're holding this, you can pull a hook into your hand. So anyhow, I like it when they come in the boxes. So this has been sitting up here for a pretty good little while. It's hotter than it was before, and so we got to be very careful. And I know people might say something to me about not using gloves. When it comes to doing these hooks, they are very finicky, and you need all the dexterity that you got to get them in the slot. And nothing is more frustrating. Well, I'm sure there's probably something out there more frustrating, but it is very frustrating to be trying to do this and you knocking the hooks that you just set, and you accidentally knock them out of spot because you're wearing big, thick, fumbly gloves, and it's bad enough trying to get them in there, especially your smaller molds. I've got some molds that use number 10 and I think number 12 hooks, and those can be very tricky. All right, so here we go. We're going to try this again, squeezing a little harder so that we hopefully we don't have the flashing that we had before. Okay, so here we go. And let's stretch this last one. Okay, that's why I moved my hand back, because it will run over. Believe it or not, it's ready to open up. There we go. Another run, simple as that. And of course I can do this a lot faster when I'm not trying to do it for the camera, but I wanted to bring you along in this journey. So I like to take them out of the mold so they can start cooling faster, because that mold will stay hot. Stay hotter longer. And so we're good on that. Let's close this up, and I'm going to set this back here because we're going to do the Midwest Finesse jig as soon as I get done cleaning these up. So here we go. Alright guys, we'll check these, make sure I got all the flashing out of the hook eye. So here's another one. So let me know in the comments below what size is your favorite on these, and what do you like to fish them with? Are you a stick bait person? I mean, see that one right there? I mean, that's the smallest one, and that's loose. I'm going to have to redo that one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the lead off of it. Get my hook back. I'll put that one back in the, I'll put it back in there and reshoot that one. I don't know if I did something when I went to snip the snip that little piece off the eye, if I snipped it too far or what. We're gonna find out, ain't we? That goes right here. Maybe I just didn't let it fill up enough. Well, we'll find out, won't we? But so back to my question. Put down in the comments below how you like to, if you use this type jig head, how you like to use it, what kind of bait you put on there. You know, help me out. I'm just learning, so I'd like to hear from those of you that have that experience. So one more little piece off of there. See if it does it again. Yeah, it's still doing it. It's kind of like a loose tooth. You can't really see it, but you can feel it wiggle. So that may not be a size that I use a lot. Of course, I don't guess it's going to hurt anything that's a little bit loose. But anyhow, all right. So we're going to pause the video, and I'm going to get this mold ready to go, and then we'll see you back. All right, guys, we're back, and again, this mold that we're getting ready to do is the Midwest Finesse Jig, and same question as before. You know, if you use this mold or use this type jig head, you don't even have to use this. But if you buy this style in the or this style here in the store, you know, what's your favorite bait to fish with it? You know, what have you had the most success with? Which size do you like to use? This goes 1/4, 3/16, 5/32, 1/8, 3/32, and 1/16. And then this one goes probably the same: 1/4, 3/16, 5/32, 1/8, 3/32, and a 1/16. Yeah. So let me know in the comments down below. That's cool enough. I can set it back there now. And we're going to load this one up. It calls, let's see, it says use Do It wire form WB400. I think it's WB400. I have some of those. For the plastic bait keeper, use owner style. It's hard to make out that 5305 or 5315 X strong jig hooks. Use hook size number 1 or 1/0. Well, I didn't order any of those hooks because I have some size 1 hooks, and this is what I'm talking about. I love this kind of packaging a whole lot more than I do this because with the bag packaging, I've stuck myself several times. Not trying to be a sissy. I'm just saying I've had hooks that have come through the bag because they poked through and actually have made their way all the way out and fell out of the bag. I just like a hard plastic case for my hooks. So I've already got some of these out over here off camera, and we're going to load these up just like we did before and come down through here. This is the easy part. The hard part is if you choose to use the bait keeper. When you're trying to put the bait keeper in, a lot of times you can knock your hook loose, and then you go to put the hook back in, you knock the keeper loose. So anyhow, all right, so got my handy dandy case over here. We'll open this up very carefully, get these bait keepers out, and put those in there, and then come back. I think this is the right ones. There's a big one and a small one, and I'm hoping that these are the right ones. So you just slide that down the side of it, and it just hangs in there. What I've found is if you focus on getting that, you can see how you got your little check mark this way, then you can see that there's that piece right there. This up here keeps it in place in the lead head. This back here is your keeper. So what I try to do is just focus on getting that J part in right here. And then the other part usually falls in place like that. So it could be a little bit of a booger. There we go. Not getting a rhythm here. All right, now very gently, we want to close these so that we don't bump out the keepers. Okay. Now, we'll let this warm up. Normally, I warm the mold up beforehand, but I'll be honest with you, I didn't want to get it real hot and be trying to show y'all on the video, and you know, just having the potential of you know, burning myself, being real dainty with it. I wanted to be able to just show you how it was done, and but you got to be careful. You got to be careful. Something else too is I need to oil the hinges on that, and I did that on the other one. I forgot to do it on this one. And all I do, I got some of this liquid wrench that was in my dad's shop, or down here in the basement of my dad's, when after we bought the place from him. And I just put a little bit of that in there. And normally you'd want to work it open and closed, but if I do that, all my hooks and keepers will fall out. So we'll work that in here a little bit. Let's see about doing running these through right quick. I don't like it when I do that. Sometimes it pours over and it blocks the other. Yeah, we'll move on and do the next ones, and try not to do that again, because it blocks the port and you can't get your lead down in there. So anyhow, we'll open it up real careful, and if we have to, we'll go back and run that one. Yeah, you can see it didn't fill out all the way, and we'll gingerly pull that out, and well, it may come out with this other one. And that's all right. We can reload it and redo it. Oh, it came right off. Still got the hook and the keeper in there, so that's good. So let's snip these off right quick. And see, this one didn't fill out either. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't smoke this mold. And to be honest, I did it on purpose just to see what would happen. So I'm wondering if these two are a result of the mold not being smoked. So we shall see. Alright, let me close this back up, see if I can shoot second and the last. We're going to do the last first. Okay. Second to last. There we go. Normally when I'm shooting, or when I'm doing these molds, I don't shoot the lead the way I'm doing now. I'm doing it that way to help y'all see. Problem with that is I don't like having my hand up under there. Normally I have it on top and over here. So you have it up like this and that lead comes over, it's going to be a ouchie. And so I don't want you to think that's the best technique for pouring lead. It's not, so don't do it that way. I'm just trying to get y'all a good view while pouring these jigs. So. Okay guys, so here's the finished product. You can see this is the weedless finesse, and then here we've got an example of just the regular finesse with the hook keeper. And I'm not going to rig up anything on this one on camera. To be honest with you, I don't. I could probably rig up a 3-inch Hellgrammite or something like that. And I even thought about rigging up one of these beautiful brush hogs on it. But I'm just going to be honest with you, I've never done it before. And before I ruin these baits that were sent to me, I'm going to do some practicing. And, you know, who knows? I might even use it as an excuse to get my own mold. So, but we're going to put that to the side. And the one I'm going to try is rigging up a worm. Just this is one of mine. I didn't want to mess up one of my nice ones that was sent to me by Mr. Danny Everett. So, but I'm going to try to rig this up on camera. And the way I've if you're looking at this video to learn something, I'm sorry, I'm not the guy, but just based off the memory of what I have seen people rig, they'll take this and kind of go through the middle just a little bit and come through, let's see, what is it, they come through about that far and then come out the side, run the worm up, and I think they turn it and then push that up there, and then you kind of see where you want your worm to come, or where the hook to come out, about right there. And so let's see here, if I don't do this right, it'll be okay. And then come up through there kind of stretch. I guess they kind of stretch that like that, so that the hook is laying right there, I guess. Let me know in the comments below if I did that right. I can barely feel the barb of the hook, but so anyway, I don't know. It looks right to me, but what do I know? I don't bass fish, so let me know what you think. I'm going to practice at it, and before I do anything with these nice baits that Mr. Everett sent me, and try fishing that. Again, comment down below what's your favorite bait to rig on these, and the rig on the straight shank finesse jigs as well. And they certainly do a good job standing on their head. And so anyhow, all right, I appreciate you tuning into the video. Hope you enjoyed it. And if you hadn't, hit that like and subscribe button and get us up over 500, and hopefully we'll move our way on to 1,000. And don't forget, you'll love the features of Preacher's Creatures.